Welcome, ladies. Welcome back to Sports and Mimosas. It's been a minute, but
That's
we're
a
glad to be
statement.
back. Yeah, life has really been lifing like it has the last couple of months. I think we haven't filmed since September. So we're gonna end out the year with two more episodes, this episode and one more. But tonight we have a special guest, our girl Lauren.
Hey
Welcome,
y'all.
Lauren. Round of applause if I had that sound.
I think you can
Um,
do it with the emojis now.
yes, we can. Um, but we want to welcome you. You came to our very first Sports and Mimosa brunch where we kicked off the NFL season last year,
Hmm.
and I think you've just gotten invested into sports since then.
Become a sport girly because of y'all.
Yeah, so tell us what's your
What's
sport
your
of
journey,
choice?
Lauren? How
Yeah.
did you get here?
Okay, let's see. We did the first brunch last year. Um, right when I was coming to the brunch, the next day I was going to my first like NFL football game at the Saints. I can't remember who the Saints was playing. And so we sat with the placemat and y'all had to teach me all the yard lines.
Yes.
Um, And I've just kind of got sucked into the sport ever since. I really like women's sports, so women's basketball, college, and NBA. I know gymnastics starts next week, and that was always fun. I did a couple of those last year. Um, I still like football. It's just too many people on the field for me. So
And you
I
can't see their
stick,
face. You
and I
really
can't see
can't.
their face. So I stick to basketball. I do men's basketball on the NBA level. I don't do college just because they're not as fun as the women's sports. So I stick to those. But yeah, I've been kind of just rocking and rolling. I've done hockey this year. I'm trying to see what else I did. I haven't done baseball yet. I think that's the only one like I haven't really got into yet.
Spring's coming. We have to get
Yeah.
out to a
Drama's
LSU.
happening right now.
Yes.
Oh, not the
Were
time.
you a big sports fan before? And what
No.
about Sports Mimosa that kind of got you going, chatting with the ladies?
One, it felt like hanging with the guys almost because everybody knew what was happening. I was not big into sports before this. Like every now and then we'll go to a game, but it was like, oh, okay. I used to get in trouble because I would like to read through it. And Melinda was like, you're not paying attention. But we're here. Now I pay attention. I
Lauren, I
Yes.
read
have
on
to
the
say
break.
that your attendance to sporting events, like I think, capped mine in the last year because I would like
Yes.
check your Instagram stories and I'm like, God, Lauren's at another game. Like I
I
haven't made a
know.
game all season. Lauren's like posting like her
Like
third night at that week at a sports event. And I'm like, oh, I'm
I
so
don't think you've
behind.
I don't think you've missed an LSU women's basketball game this season yet.
Not for the home ones. I think I
Yeah,
missed
right,
like
home.
one home one, but that was about it. And I was mad because the other day, last Sunday, they played Grambling, but they played in Bossier, and it said at LSU. So I was excited, thinking I was going to the game. Went to go request my tickets, and they were like, "Sit down, it's Shreveport. You're not going anywhere." I was like, "Dang
I love it.
it!"
You're excited to go. And we went to the playoff game last year together for the
Hmm.
women's basketball. Very intense. And you were not reading. You were paying attention and
I was
up
paying
cheering.
attention.
She was all
Yes.
spirit fingers for the
That's
free
my
throw
favorite
shots.
part of the game. That is my favorite part. And if they miss it and I don't do my spirit fingers, I say it's because I didn't do my spirit fingers. And if I do it the next one and they
You're
win,
in,
I'm like,
Lauren. That's all. That's how you know you're a fan now. When
Yeah,
you're
the
yes,
like, I
superstition.
did this. I am the
Yeah.
it's
reason
because
why
of
this
me.
happened.
Yes.
So we are excited to have you here and that you are loving sports and learning about it. She's even playing our fantasy football in our fantasy football league for Sports and Mimosa. So we're getting her more and more in, and hopefully we can get her more interested into the NFL once you learn the guide. Like the fantasy football, I think teaches you players a little bit
Yes.
better, and then you get more
I've
invested.
my little brothers are interested in football. Like they watch the football all the time. So like every week I'm calling them and be like, okay, this is my roster this week. What am I missing? Who needs to be? And so they help me put my fantasy list together because once again, it's too many people.
Yeah. Yeah, that takes some fantasy for for the NBA for basketball, I did that one year, and that's super hard because of so many games. So at least
Mm,
the
yeah.
football, you only have Monday through Thursday that you're doing, but and you only have to pay attention to each player one game. Like NBA, you can have three games in one night.
Oh, that's too much
So
stress.
that's a lot of, or not
It's
in
too
one
much.
night, in one week. Three games in one week for that player, and you got to check. And then what if they're sitting out this week, this game, but gonna be
That's too
back
much.
in? Yeah, it's
Too
a lot, but
much.
you do
Too
learn the
much.
players. But
Too much.
again, welcome. We're going to have some chat or talk about some things with going on in college basketball for women that's has started up and college for men as well, but we're focusing on the women's side because as Lauren said, it's a little bit more exciting these days. The WNBA and then our top things that we're looking at this week. But welcome back again to Meredith. But Meredith has some news for us too. What's been going on your side, Meredith?
Well, to echo Erin's sentiments of it just being a wild year, in the last couple of months, I'm making a move, figuratively and professionally. I'm going into a completely new industry that is asking me to move to Dallas, Texas. So I will be joining um, my little Luca and the Mavericks and be moving to Dallas early next year. So we will still be doing the pod. We will just be doing it from different states. I'm very excited. I'm glad I at least like the Mavericks because I will not be a Cowboys fan. I can't do it. And I don't
Good.
like the Rangers either because of the Astros or my Texas loyalty baseball wallets. But I love the Mavericks. So I was like, okay, well maybe this is a good sign. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'll be able to do some Mavs games while I'm there. I know I always see you at the Pels games, and I'm like, I can't wait. I can't wait to be able to do that in
I
Do
Dallas.
know.
they do
So
they play each other? Does the Mavericks and the
Hmm.
mhm,
Pels? So we'll have to go.
we
Yep.
will.
And
I was
We
gonna say
will.
that. I was like, we have to visit for that and for the Chicago, not the Chicago, but the Dallas Wings games.
Yes.
Mhm.
Maybe when Chicago goes, but definitely
Yeah.
coming out for those.
I am
And they
really
have
excited to
hockey
go to
out
a
there
city.
too.
Yeah, they have like every sport and they have
Yeah.
soccer, they have everything. So I am really excited that I'll be in a city that has so much going on. Again, I'll be LSU through and through, but to have so many different varieties and again, that WNBA and hockey and all the things, I'm going to be really excited to
And what that's an hour plane
explore.
ride.
It's not bad
No
at
Yeah.
all.
less
Leave
than an
Baton
Hour
hour.
and
Rouge, it's
30
going to be great.
minutes.
Oh, hour and 30 minutes. So yeah,
Yep.
quick.
I'll pick you up from the airport. We'll be fine.
So
Yes.
we're excited. Congratulations on that new journey. And
Thank you.
of course, you end up in Dallas with Luca.
I remember thinking like, oh, the Mavs. Okay.
Like that was her selling point. Like, would you mind moving to Dallas? Sure. The
It
Mavs are
was a
there.
wild
Like,
hiring story because like it wasn't even supposed to be in Dallas. And I just go to this, I'll
stars
have to tell you
align.
more off camera, but I went into an interview. It was the second interview. It was the COO. It was over coffee. It was like super laid back. And I told him, no, I did a solo trip this year and it kind of just helped me come home and realize, I'm kind of I need a little mix up. And he's like, you want to go to Dallas? And I was like, I,
Well,
like again, first thing, and I was like, "Are you, are you gonna? Can you get me to Dallas?" He's like, "I can get you to Dallas," and I was like, "Okay." And so, like again, like it's all just been a wild ride. So I'm like, and I remember thinking in my car, I was like, "There's a Soul Cycle, and I like the maps, so I think I can do it." So,
I love what's
but
on our priority. The
that's
fitness,
what I was like,
but then the sports. Like,
"You should
what's
see,
there?
yeah, yes." I'm like, okay,
So
I can make
yeah.
this work. So,
But yeah,
but
we'll be continuing our podcast and we do it through Zoom or virtually, so we'll still be able to have our girl chats about sports, what's going on, and then just more field trips for us to get together, girl
what
trips.
yes.
industry is it?
I
Mm,
am working for the company who builds Raising Cane's.
oh,
So
cool.
I'm working for CSRS, who's a civil engineering firm, but I work with the architectural team that are building Racing Canes.
which they are all over the place.
That's why they're
Yeah.
building, and they just moved their headquarters to Dallas. So that's why CSRS is like, we
Ooh,
need people in Dallas. It's like,
that's
okay.
fun.
So
Yeah.
it's been wild.
We went
So
we went to New York this weekend for a Knicks game and a Nets game because they played Saturday and Sunday. You know, we're on that journey for all of the stadiums, arenas, and
mhm.
everything. So we had been to Barclay for a Liberty game, but we went for a Nets, and then we went to the Knicks to the Madison Square Garden. I think I said
They're
that right.
fun.
Um, but when we were in Brooklyn, like right down the street from, because you know there's a Raising Cane's in Times Square that
Yeah,
that had just opened this year, I think. But when we were in Brooklyn, down the street from the hotel was the Raising Cane's. I was like, oh crap, they got more than one up in
he's
New
Todd's
York.
getting them everywhere.
I
Todd's
was
getting them
like, oh,
everywhere.
they are
So I
everywhere.
say, show me the money, wherever
So yeah.
the
So
money.
again, I'm working with a bunch of architecture techs. I've worked in sales, so it's a very different
Pretty
That's
fun
industry
though.
exciting.
altogether. But I'm
Yeah.
excited. So who knows what this will lead to. So now
Might be a
I have a client that I'm like, oh, maybe the client will take me to things. Like we all
Oh
get to
right.
yeah.
go to a
This
Mavs game.
You and
Sure, they
Todd
have a
could be
suite.
BFFs.
Maybe.
Yep.
This might be the year that we're all making changes and stuff. I know me and Lauren have
Yes.
talked about that, just new opportunities and doing passion and you know what you're passionate about and all of that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So, um, that's
Yeah.
awesome that you're going to be kicking off the new year on a new
So
path.
much newness.
Yeah.
Yes.
But let's jump into this conversation. So going back to women's sports and college foot or not college football, but college basketball, women specifically, we're here in Baton Rouge, so all of us are fans of the Lady Tigers. Kim Mulkey and Flage is still there. We were Angel Reese fans. She left. Um, hence why I said Chicago Sky. Like we're gonna come to one of those games just so that we could
Yes.
see Angel. But last week I was supposed to go to, and Lauren's been to all of the majority of the home games so far. I think she just said she missed one. But last week they played Stanford, and I wanted to go to that game. I was supposed to go, but I missed it because of an event. But by the time I got home, it was, I think, the third quarter. So I'm watching, and it was a pretty tight game and pretty good. But then I think Stanford pulled away, and it was the end of the fourth quarter, a couple minutes left, I think, but it looked like Stanford was pulling away to where it was like, oh, this is over.
We have been down the whole game. Like the whole game, we trailed.
Okay.
Like under five, between like 5 and 7, the whole game. I know when the first quarter ended, it was like 15 to 30 something. And I was like,
Hmm.
oh Lord, this is not gonna be good.
Yeah, I think when I chimed in, they were climbing back up, but then it went down.
Hmm.
And so I stayed watching it, but a lot of people started leaving the PMAC. And then it really turned around and it was like, oh, all those people left. And
We
I
came
was,
back, yeah, in the
you had
last
left?
2 minutes. No, 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 I
Oh,
didn't
no.
leave.
Oh, the team came back. Yeah.
Yeah, the last 2 minutes was probably the best part of the entire
Yeah,
game.
because I was just sitting there, like I stopped whatever I was doing. I was like, oh, they came back. Like, oh, they're coming back. Like this could turn around. And then I'm like, they're letting Stanford beat them, and they don't have like they lost. Oh, I can't think of her name, but they're good players last year to oh girl, that's with the Sparks. I can't think of her name,
I know who you're talking about.
and she's Steph Curry's god
Oh,
sister.
oh,
Oh,
it's Cameron.
Cameron,
yes.
yes. So they don't, you know, they lost some of their stars or whatever, but um that just had me thinking because when they were saying everyone was leaving and stuff and it turned around, I was like, see, this is why you do not leave the game until the end. One, if it's my team, I don't like to leave the game because I feel that's disrespectful. Even if they're losing, like Pels
Hmm.
games, I stay. One,
And they
I
be
let the
losing.
crowds go. Right, they're not doing so well. But I'm also like, no, I have to stay and support these guys and like we're gonna stay to the end because you never know. But even if it's a blowout, I'm like support. So what are y'all's thoughts? Do you leave a game? Lauren, we know you stayed this last one. And Kim, Moki was like, I see all of you guys. So they do notice when we leave.
Right.
So do you
Um,
guys stay?
I stay only because one, I know this is not the first time the Tigers have been down and come back in the last point whatever second. Because when we
Mhm.
played in the Bahamas, they were down the whole game, and then Kaylin Gilbert, number 16, got a shot in, and it was like point 0.5 left in the game to win by one. So I don't count us out if we're not that far behind, but I still don't
You never
leave.
know.
Like
Yeah.
we go to the Pelicans game and I only go to see my baby daddy, Brandon Ingram. But
You got to stay to support.
yeah, I gotta stay to support. And they're not even winning. So no, I don't personally leave because you never know what can happen.
Yeah. And they see you, like Kim said. What about you, Meredith? Did I see that face? Like,
So I personally believe, because I'm going to have a thesis of an answer. I think it depends on the sport and the team because I left Tiger Stadium this year during the Ole Miss game because, and I know everyone stormed the field and all that stuff, and like, but I left because one, I was like that was the game that they did the bright like light up bracelets,
oh yeah, in the
and I
NBA.
sit near the student section, or I think they put like students above our section. I don't know what's going on. So like people are throwing bracelets. We weren't playing that well, and the calls were awful. Like, so it was like a situation where, like, maybe I was just overstimulated, and I'm like, I'm not. And I should disclose that, like, I live very close to the stadium, and I was not going to sit in traffic
Oh my
after a
gosh.
loss to go less than a mile. Like, it was just like, you know what? I've had enough. I can't deal with this. Like, I can't watch like I just couldn't watch us like play terribly and then like be so close because like I mean if you've ever been in Tiger Stadium, it's like you're like
Yeah.
on people. So like I'm like being touched. I have things being thrown at me. We are being paid terrible. And like then I remember I left when the ref made some stupid like I think holding call or something or an intentional grounding call, and it was like that's obvious BS. I'm not watching. Like I can't do this.
Yeah, they're
I'm gonna
not
go
on
home.
our side.
Yeah, like I'm not doing
Well,
this. And then we eventually came back and I was like, cool, like whatever. So glad that we did that. But I was like, I was not chained. Like I don't want to say I don't have faith in this team yet. I don't know. I still like don't know what Brian Kelly is doing as a typical LSU
hmm
fan. Like I just am like, I can't stand by. If that was Coach O, I probably would have stayed. If like we were doing things differently, I think I would stay. So when I say it depends on the sport, I'm never failing Kim Mulkey. Like I'm never gonna
But she
say
also
like if
will
she
watch what you
starts
left.
behind, I'm
She
like
gonna see you in
I think
church.
she has too much one experience. Two, she's like not like Brian Kelly hasn't proven, but he hasn't proven himself really in LSU
Here,
yet,
yeah.
or like to our standards. That like Kim's not letting her team lose that bad without like like I think that there's a
Some
part
fight.
of you that's like oh, and like personally, okay, say we're losing. I'm watching Kim Mulkey on the sidelines the whole time dealing with us losing because she's
She
entertaining. So
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like that's where I was like, I would never leave a basketball game. One, I'm indoors. There's more spacing. There's like I'm just more comfortable in an arena that like
Yeah.
side not have anything to do with my relationship with the team. But like I think women's basketball, especially like Tigers, I'm never underestimating Kim Mulkey. These girls have proven that they are not going to give up until it's point like 0-0 on the clock. So I think that
Yeah.
there's just different storylines. Like I think it's really funny that we're bringing this up because I'm like, this is probably the first time I ever left Tiger Stadium in the middle of a big game because I
And
was
then
like, I
they
can't
won
deal
that
with
one,
this.
right?
And they won. I think it
Yeah.
went to overtime and it was this whole thing. But like I think, and I really hate how I fit that cliche where it's like we're better than this. We're better. Like we should not have to be playing Ole Miss of all these people. It's like this. This is ridiculous. And then, but like again, Brian Kelly just hasn't proven himself to me yet. So I think like I'm going to make it again a thesis answer that there's just a relationship with the sport and the team. And right now, I don't feel attached to anyone really on the LSU football team. And like the women, like I'm going to ride or die for Kim Mulkey till the end. And I think one, she just like Flagey, like that, like Michaela, like all of them, like if one of them's not going to have a game, one of the other one
Yeah.
is. So
I
it's
feel
kind
like
of like
hmm
Flage
I
really
think that
steps
that's what's
up.
so cool about like basketball, like so football, like it's just you have to wait for the other team to do their thing the whole time. Like where basketball, like I like how you
It's
mentioned, like
constant.
somebody can make that one shot with like 0.1 second left in the half, and like it completely changes the momentum of the game.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
That you're
easier to
like,
come back.
oh,
Yeah.
this is changing. Whereas like I don't, not that football doesn't have that because there's definitely good storyline, but like there's just a different energy
Yeah.
in basketball that the game could change at any moment.
Yeah.
So that's my
Okay,
long
so now
story.
that you've given that explanation, I have
Mhm.
left probably 3 games in Tiger Stadium.
I'm telling you, it's an arena.
One,
It's
yeah, like one because it was freezing outside and I was tired of sitting there.
Mhm.
And then like we were right above where they were like making the Papa John's pizza. And
Mhm.
so I was like, I'm tired of smelling pizza. It
Yeah.
was cold. I was like,
Mhm.
it's time to go. And we probably were. I want to say we were losing both of those games as
Yeah.
well.
Like it's
Yeah.
not a fun place to be if
When you're
we're
losing.
No.
losing. And I
But
Yeah.
I
think it's just like a,
so
like
I
again, like it wasn't, I don't know, Joe
yeah.
Burrow and that 2019 team just kind of spoiled everyone that it's like,
Hmm.
we're better
Yeah.
than this. And like, this is a story for another time, but like, we're paying these kids a lot of money now.
And
If
ain't
y'all aren't
nobody showing
winning,
up to performing.
like,
That I
I'm
think
not
that's
doing this.
a
Like,
well, that's a lot because even the Saints, but I think that one, I don't leave, and I think it was, I don't know if it was Les Miles or Coach Ogeron that said that you shouldn't be leaving the football games, where
I
I
think it was
kind of got
less.
that. I think it was Les Miles, like we see you got kind of like what Kim Mulkey said, but he was like, he really called them out. Um, so like I remember that, but also I feel bad like I feel like I'm walking out on someone's performance, even if they're not performing well. But I
Mhm.
think what you just explained to Meredith is that here in the South, like old LSU fans, like, and I'm saying old school LSU fans, like you've been born in it. Like your parents
Mhm.
have season
Born in
tickets.
this.
You go to those games. Like they're like mad. Like that's why you guys don't like Nick Saban. Like because he
I
left.
love Nick Saban. I
Well,
think that is, yes.
fans. I'm
But
saying
like,
LSU football
yes.
fans do not
Hmm.
like Nick Saban because he left them. Like they take it personal. Like
They be in their feelings.
yeah, and so when you're not performing their match, and the Saints are kind of like that too, fans too, like they leave the games early, but I sit there, one because Tyrann Mathieu, that's my favorite player, and Alvin, and I'm like, no, we have to stay, like we gotta support them, and I need to watch
But
them
I
walk
think that
off the
that plays a
field,
part
but
though, because I like don't have that for LSU football right now. Like I don't
right,
have
because
anyone who
they're
like
not
I
performing
have to
like they
see
were,
if so and
yeah.
so does something because it's like, no,
They ain't doing nothing.
no,
But
like
also,
I'm not.
I probably wouldn't leave because now I don't pay attention to the games on TV because like you said there's no one like really that stands out. I think the only one that I really pay attention is Mason Taylor that I still like from the old ones and he's leaving. Um but I lost my train of thought. Oh, nope, I lost my train of thought. I don't even know what I was saying.
But yeah,
Something about
so I
Mason
think that
Taylor.
Yeah,
yeah,
the only yeah, oh my God, like such
you
a
were saying
brain
Tyrann
fart.
Matthew and well, no, 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 no,
No.
it's all blending in together.
Next.
So
I shouldn't even
just
said
snip this part, snip
Mason
this part.
Taylor. Yeah. Anyway, we'll come back to that because we went off of women's
Yes,
basketball and went to football.
Tangent.
This is how we love. You live in a football country when
it's like.
you go back that way too. But yeah, so it would be interesting that we might pose that question like, would you leave a game early? Do you think that's rude? Or does it depend on the storyline? Um, but yeah, so we're excited. So it's been preseason for basketball, and so we're really about to get into like your conference play and stuff. And I'm really excited. I will be going to the LSU games for those and not missing
Holding
these
you
pre ones.
accountable.
Yes, because I need to go to those. I wish they were playing USC because Juju
Oh, I
um
like her.
Watkins is doing a very good job. Like USC is doing great, but again, it's preseason, so it's not really conference. Like you're playing smaller schools and stuff. But she's having a really good season so far. And I think seeing her and Flage would be great.
That'd be a good game.
Battle
Yeah.
that, yeah. So I'm excited to see this season. really, really kick up. But also excited for WNBA to come back, and Lauren has her WNBA sweatshirt on. But we just kind of wrapped that season, but then we just got our new team. The WNBA expanded, and their first team is officially set. There was a draft last week, where it was almost a person from every team
Wild.
Except
went,
Seattle.
except for
Yeah.
Seattle, because I think there's 12 there's 12 teams prior to this
Hmm.
new one, and it's the Valkyries in Golden State. Not Golden State is not. That's the Warriors. San Francisco.
In the
Had it right.
Bay.
The Bay Area, yes. So they have their first WNBA team, the Valkyries, and so they have um a roster now. So they'll be playing next year or next season. Yeah, it will be
Isn't
next year
it
though.
wild that draft?
Yeah. So it's interesting. I meant to
Like,
look
oh,
that
we're
up.
allowed to take someone, and they like just take any, like how they took Kate
Yeah, I
from
know.
the Ace. Like, I was really upset because I was like, no,
Asia was too.
Hmm.
But
yeah.
I think
But
it's
like, could you imagine? I'm sorry, not to make this a
no.
me female versus male thing, but I'm like, can you imagine if they were just like, up and now we're gonna take like
But did they do that when they were
like
expanding teams? It's kind of like since I
like
feel
when was
like,
the last time the NBA got expanded? But like how they just like do you take
well,
someone like
Oklahoma changed. So yeah, I don't think they
of that
expanded.
caliber? Like, do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I don't know. And maybe because WNBA is smaller, you notice like all any kind of player that gets taken. Like, no, the other day, I'm going to show
Yeah.
my knowledge. Did you even know that Kevin Love doesn't play for the Cavs anymore? And like, I didn't. And I was like, when did that trick? Like, there's just so many people in the NBA that like it's easier. Like, but with
Yeah.
Hmm.
the WNBA, they're like, oh, we took Kate from Las Vegas. Like, and you're like,
Well, yeah, I was wondering how
what?
that draft was going to go, but then I guess you think about it, they wouldn't be able to play in this season because the draft already happened. So they would
Mm-hmm.
have to wait a whole nother season. You know what I mean? So they did get to take, which
Which
was,
is like wild that they let it happen when I don't know.
and
That's like a part of me is like
they knew that there was going to be a team, but I guess maybe it wasn't official because like I think the expansion was already talked about before the draft
it was
happened.
talked
Hmm.
about before, yeah.
Hmm.
So it's like, why couldn't they have been a part of it? But I
Yeah.
think it's also I could be exciting. Like, yes, it's sad to see your teammate, yeah, if you're playing, leave, or your favorite player leaving, but then they get to be a part of starting something within that city, which is exciting. They were that first team, and then
It
if
like
they do
makes sense why they
something,
did it, but I think we just
yeah,
notice it more because it's like, oh,
What? But I also
yeah,
feel like there's enough people that is not currently playing in the league that
that
they could
could,
have
same.
got the, what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14 players. They could
yeah.
have got them
Yeah,
Hmm.
easily.
those that couldn't have been in the draft because
Hmm.
there was only a certain amount that could anyway. But yeah, let's go back in
Because like Alexis
a
Morris, she could
tryout.
have been on a team. Like there was several people from the rookie class last year and the year before that could have gotten picked to create
Yeah,
a brand new team.
that is
Yeah.
true. Maybe it's like they didn't
Okay,
want to try out.
well that sucks.
Yeah.
My question earlier, Meredith, was okay, so have you looked to see who from each team went, or we just know about Kate? Because people, it was a talked about trade.
I just
Um,
knew about Kate.
Someone from the New York Liberty, one of the big one. I don't know if her name was
Kayla,
Chris
Kayla
Kayla. Yeah,
Thornton.
she left. They
Hmm.
pulled her.
So let's
Um,
go through the list.
okay. Look at this.
Tell me,
Okay.
See,
Lauren.
Yes,
Tell me the
Lauren
scoops.
has the
Tell
list.
me
She
the
is
she
scoop.
has the
following
list.
it.
I'm on it.
Teach us
Okay.
something.
So from the Dream, nah, I'm probably gonna butcher up the names. Ilana Rupert. I don't know her. Connecticut's Sun was Veronica Burton. The Fever, Timmy Fagenbelly. That's probably wrong. Stephanie Talbot from the Sparks. Kayla Thornton from the Liberty. Now, this is weird. Seattle didn't have a person. It said no selection from
So yeah,
Seattle.
why is there yeah, I wanted to ask because I'm
I
learning
don't
too. But I
know.
was like, how did they get like
Maria Kondo or Condi from the Sky. Now, I watched WNBA last
No, I don't
year.
remember.
And I primarily watch the Aces and the Sky. Where Maria come from, I have no clue. I ain't never seen Maria.
She could
So,
have
hey,
just been
Maria,
out last season. Maybe she was hurt and not
maybe
playing.
so, maybe
Yeah.
so. But hey, Maria girl,
Show us
um,
what you got now.
right, you better do some. Carla Liete from the Wings, Kate Martin from the Aces, Cecilia Vandal. Oh,
Fernando
girl.
Lassini. Look at that
Yep,
name.
her. Yep, from the Lynx. Monica Billings from the Mercury, and then Julie Vandelo from the Mystics.
Which I think
But
Monica was really good too. I remember hearing,
I would say I remember that name. I remember her
yeah,
name.
I remember
so
her.
let's hope Kate and Kayla show out and like are gonna become the stars of this team.
I think so.
And maybe the Aces and the Liberty got someone because those two teams made it to the playoffs this year. So they were like, oh, we need to bring some, but they
Some
probably couldn't,
switcheroo.
yeah, they probably couldn't afford or take any of the stars
Oh,
off.
you want to
But
know
then,
how it works?
yes,
Or
because that I
how it
was supposed
works?
to look that up. So teach us
Okay.
all how that worked.
Well, there's
Because
only
there's
four
gonna
bullets,
be
so this is
there
going to be quick.
because there are gonna be two other teams coming in maybe next year. I think maybe the
One was
following
in
year.
Canada, huh? One is
Yeah.
in
So
Canada.
And in
each
Portland.
current WNBA team can protect up to six players from being
Mm.
selected. So they had to protect
Their
six of them,
starting line, pretty much.
pretty much. The Golden State Valkyrie will select from a designated pool of available players from each of the 12 current teams. They may make a pre-expansion draft trades, including deals to pick specific players and trade them to different teams.
Mm.
So I think one of those pre-expansion drafts was the Kate Martin one because they like
Mm.
used one of their like things to get specifically her. Like they wanted
Which
her.
I
And
think
then it
is
She
good
can be
says,
for
the star
Kate,
then.
which I think is good for her because she didn't even think she was going to get drafted. And then
it
she got
Hmm.
says
drafted by the
they,
Aces
yeah.
and them.
And then they may only select one player set to become a 2024 unrestricted free agent. What does that
What that
mean?
mean? Look, what that mean?
Let me see what
Because
this
they
is.
weren't under they weren't going to have a contract and be open for trade, I think.
It says they will only be able to select one player from across the entire league who is eligible to become an unrestricted free agent following the 20. Like, so is it like basically, okay, if I'm understanding it correctly, only one person can become a free agent. So only one person has potential to leave next year.
Well, no,
Because, right,
what
free agents, you can leave.
they get to pick one unrestricted
Yeah.
free
It
agent.
says they're to select one player from across the entire league who is eligible to become an unrestricted free agent following the 2024 season. So basically it's like these no one can be all of a sudden I want to be a free agent at the end of the year.
No, I think
Mm.
it's whoever's going to be a free agent. So like in the NBA, and we
Oh,
can do research on that, but it's like they get first dibs. Like so if LeBron James was a free agent, like his contract was up and he was about to be a free agent, and normally
okay.
that's when they can negotiate and the Lakers
Oh,
can meet his salary or something, or another team can come up and say, "Hey, we want you. He's a free agent now." They can grab him. So I think it's like maybe they get first pick. So say Asia is unrestricted next year,
okay.
they would be able to
Hmm.
pick her if she was. Is what
Okay.
it kind
No,
of
that
sounds
makes way
like.
more sense. But I was like, oh, are
Yeah.
they making sure nobody leaves next
No, yeah. I think it's
So I
like
wonder
contract
if
time.
they're gonna do something shady to get that Seattle Storm player, like when they do the regular draft next year.
Because oh, what's her
But
name
they're
that was
already
really, really
getting
good?
Paige, aren't they?
Who?
Mm.
Don't
Who's
they
getting
get
paid?
Paige? Who gets
Well,
Paige
no,
Bookers?
whoever's first draft
And
pick.
yeah.
It's
Oh
not going to
wait,
be
that
the
was on the.
Sun if they go by the worst team, because the Sun were in the playoffs. I mean, not the
Wait,
Sun.
so but
Yeah,
doesn't the
The
Valkyrie
week.
do they get the first pick or no? Who gets first pick
No.
now?
Uh-uh.
probably not if they.
Dallas
Who's
Wings is first pick. The
I
Sparks
can't
is
buy a
second
jersey.
pick. The Chicago Sky is the third pick, and then the Washington Mystics is the fourth pick from the lottery.
They didn't even get to pick anybody right now. Like or anyone. This is interesting.
No, yeah, because we'll have to wait for the college season to be over, so that will be in March because they have a
Yeah.
quick turnaround from
April
college.
14th is uh the draft for WNBA.
Look at you,
We gotta have a
Lauren.
draft on it. We gotta have a draft party here. Draft
Yes, we
party.
will. But yeah, Paige will probably go number one. We'll have to have two drafts because the NFL and the and the WNBA. Because there's some big picks. We'll next week we'll talk about the NFL because we got that coming up. And college is ending. But yeah, Paige will probably go number one. Um, and maybe two. Well, I guess two, unless they trade them. I think they're able to
Hmm.
trade picks and stuff. Like if a team trades, who did you say was one? Dallas?
Dallas is one.
So if someone trades because they want, I don't know if they can do it like that.
I don't know.
Kind of like the
They'd
NFL. I
have
don't
to
know if they
get
can.
somebody, but like
Good.
they're gonna go to Paige. They're gonna go with Paige, I think.
Because I think
They're not
Paige
Taylor
gonna
would
do it.
Sparks, Sky,
probably,
and the Sticks.
thinking about it, Paige is probably the best one coming out so far.
Yeah.
I mean, the season is just getting started, but like, because
She's well, they've
Paige
been
would have
talking
been
about
number
Paige since
one.
she was Paige has
Yeah,
been
Paige
talking.
would have been number one. Caitlin would
I
have.
didn't watch the WNBA or women's basketball, and I knew about Paige Boogers. So
Right. I don't think
What school is Paige at? Or where is Paige?
she would UConn,
UConn, UConn.
Oh.
one of the
She
best.
got hurt last year.
So she,
Mm.
I think if she didn't get hurt last year and was playing, Caitlin Clark would not have,
I think it
Been
would have
number
been a
one.
bit different game, different
yeah,
conversation.
like I'm sure she
I
would
was
have
saying it would
shined.
take it all away from Caitlyn, but it wouldn't have been all on Caitlyn.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it wouldn't have been all about her because Paige would have been dominating because
Just as
she,
well.
like you said, she had already been dominating and expected to go, but then she got hurt.
Yeah.
And still being talked about,
Yeah.
even while she was sitting on the bench. Um, so yeah,
Yeah,
it's
South
gonna be
Carolina
interesting.
has a good team this year. I know they like just lost their first game in forever, and
Who?
people were
South
upset.
Carolina? Yeah.
I think they're
I
good
but
I
any
think
of the
every.
right.
girls this senior and
Who all
stuff
is undefeated besides LSU? Because I know that
I
the
don't know.
South Carolina was like the first time in like so many games that they
games.
lost,
Yeah.
like 100 something.
Hmm.
Like
And they
wild.
were
I don't
mad
know who's.
at Dawn about that. But like Auntie wasn't on the floor playing.
See, I would. This is my and this is probably why they don't pay me big bucks to be a coach. I'd be like, great, now my pressure's off. Now we can just get to do whatever the heck we want.
But she's
Like,
probably
great.
saying that too. But you're gonna have a loss. But and if she's trying to rebuild her team
She is
and
rebuilding.
learn them,
They're in a
you're gonna
rebuild.
have some quirks because those girls are learning each other. And if you're a
Yeah,
freshman coming in or transfer or whatever, but I think Dawn will be fine. Again,
they're gonna be fine.
it's preseason in a sense. Like these are not your conference games yet, I don't think.
No,
So, I mean, it's your record, but does it really count?
yeah, no, they're
Until
just
it gets
ironing it out.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, I'm excited to see more. I will be going. I can't wait for me to go to my first LSU game of the season and actually see something. We will be having, for those that are in Baton Rouge, a watch party for the LSU women's versus the South Carolina game because it's in
Hmm.
South Carolina this year. Last year they were here, and that's in January on the 23rd. So we'll get together to watch that because
We went to
hopefully
that
that's a
game
good
together
game.
last year too, huh?
No, we were
Was that
both
you?
there.
We didn't go together. Okay.
Yeah, we
I was about to
weren't
say I
there
didn't
together,
saw
but we
that
were
one.
both there because I definitely had to go.
It's my dad's birthday. I remember that.
I remember, yeah, you were like, because y'all didn't go, right?
We didn't go because
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
it was
And you
home and it
go,
was like,
yeah.
oh, we're going to dinner, but like all of us are on our phones, like
Y'all should have just came to the game and had dinner
Yeah.
afterwards.
that's
It's like that.
exactly.
This is the gift.
Yeah, it's like, hello, Don is in town.
Yeah,
Like,
Auntie Dawn is here, honey.
Yes.
you gotta come. And Angel was
They
still
played.
playing. It was
Hmm.
still,
Wild.
It was a good
yeah.
Yeah.
game.
It was. It
They
came down to the end. And then was that the one that again, I think something happened to Angel like in the final minutes and it was like I think
I
did she
think
foul
she
fouled.
out?
got fouled
Yeah.
out.
She got
Yeah.
fouled out and I was like,
Uh-huh.
oh, there it is.
But she shouldn't
Yep.
have.
Yeah, I remember that.
And
Because
those South Carolina fans were deep because I sat in that
Kim
section
caught a
behind.
technical at that game.
That's what it was.
Behind
It was
Kim caught a technical at that game behind that play.
those
They
are
were like, "Come on,
hilarious. This
Kim."
is my favorite.
Yeah.
See,
She
like that's
is
why I don't leave the
funny.
game. That's right there why I don't leave
She
anything with
Hey,
is
Kim Mulkey.
funny.
She is, and she go hard, especially at the last like couple of shots. And if they not doing right, it's literally I look for the outfits because they all the
Oh yes.
whole
What is she
like
wearing tonight?
yes, whole admin team. Like I was just looking when we were about to
Yeah,
start,
they all are.
Yeah, look
and
good.
now that
They all look
Simone is
good.
there, like I look for her sweaters. Like
Yeah.
I'm here for
Everyone
it.
has
If the
their
outfit
brand. Everyone has like their look.
But
and
Like,
like because it's
that's
not as like
Auntie Dawn's
clicked as it was.
that's
wait,
Auntie
what?
Dawn's style too. Dawn Staley, the sweaters. I can't wait to see Simone too in action as a
I
coach.
was like discovering like early stages of Dawn, and she used to have like some
Dressed up.
amazing outfits. Like now that she
Hmm.
like now she's like done enough. Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
she's
she
probably like,
ages
oh, I'm gonna
I'll
out
wear
wear
like
now.
next.
I'm gonna wear
Mhm.
like my Gucci sweats. Like, and y'all can't say anything because they're
But they
Gucci.
still like
But
talk about her fashion with her sweats
yes.
and her
Yes.
Yeah,
But
because she
like
whatever
can
they
hop
were
in a
like
dress.
saying
blazer
she
and
used
a
to get
sweatsuit.
dressed
Yes.
up and like she was, yeah, I came across, I don't know if it was an article or if it was like a reel or something, but somebody talked about how Dawn Staley kind of did it too.
Yeah.
That kind of like the history of it. But no,
Yeah,
no,
she's
that's
the
always
best.
fun.
Yeah. So we'll have more conversations on that and as the WNBA starts. But just to wrap up tonight, what are three things that you were paying attention to this week or last week that caught your eye in the
My
sports
three
world?
things are the Caitlin Clark being the athlete of the
For
year
times.
for time. Um,
Did we
don't
think
know how,
that was not gonna come?
but like I also just like,
I can't wait till the
I
hype
mean,
on her die
again, you can
down.
listen to like, wait, what?
I said I can't wait till the hype on her die down.
I like I do think what she did was good. Like I'm like it's not like
Yeah, she's
oh,
good, but
but
like
I also just like I think and maybe I'm not the one to ask because like I knew about Sabrina and Brianna Stewart. Like I knew about players beforehand. So like I do think it's weird that it took this one player. And again, I'm an LSU fan, and I know that Angel Reese helped her get to where she is. I will.
hmm
That game was the most watched television. Like I think it like
ever.
surpassed like any other like football game or something that year. That like they didn't do that all for Caitlin Clark. Like she didn't just do it by herself. So I
Have to
think
have
like
a
the fact
villain
that
and
she's
they
been doing a lot of things, and then like I mean I'm not saying that it takes another blonde girl to get hurt, but like Cameron Brink was out this year. That like there were
Could have came
other
for her. Yeah.
yes, like you know, like I'm
she
just
didn't
kind of
even
like how
make
it
it
just was
to the
like
playoffs. Like we should be talking about Kate, if anything. Like she made it to the playoffs
yes.
out of all of the
Like I
rookies.
don't think she like I think like you know if someone could explain to me like why it's her and someone gave me a more logical excuse like or reasoning behind it, I'd be like, "Oh, okay." But like I don't think what she is and I do think like she changed the organization around and all this stuff, but like I mean if we're going to talk about other people's sports, like so did Jaden Daniels. Like so did like turning like I don't know. I don't you can also listen to any archives of our shows and that she has just not been my
But
favorite
I'm not
athlete.
a
So for her to
super
get
fan.
the athlete of the year when I'm like,
Well, and they
okay,
must take
like
more than obviously her athleticism and
but
what
I
she
also
did
feel
on the
like maybe
court.
she doesn't like I don't what did she do off the court? Like I don't know anything about her
But they're
charity. I don't know
probably
anything
Right.
no, I'm
about
not talking about that. I'm talking about the
yeah,
impact because of the
yeah.
storyline and the fans that
Hmm.
came because they're using that. The fans that came over to the WNBA because of her, and that's how they're framing it. But
Hmm.
again, like you said, like she wouldn't have done that without that rival with Angel. If they didn't have the rivalry that they created and to pin them against each other and then both to be that good and for LSU to be that good and
Like
exciting
I
to
want to
watch,
ask
you wouldn't
people
be
to be
paying attention.
like who, and this is a genuine question. This isn't like a like who won that South Carolina team that year? If South Carolina would have beat, or if who did LSU beat South Carolina that year to go to the who
Wait,
did
what year? With
Yes, they
Angel?
did.
the year that they played Iowa?
Oh, yes, yes.
Yes.
They beat South
Hmm.
Carolina. Like a part of me was like, who on that South Carolina team could have challenged Caitlin the way that Angel did? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like that. It would have
Yeah.
been. I think again, Angel Reese helped Caitlin Clark get to where she is. That's how
But
100% so.
I have.
then she didn't. She also didn't win a championship. So if
She
you're
didn't
like
win a
the,
championship.
she didn't win a
And if we're gonna
championship.
do it for all
She
those
couldn't
glory
beat South
athletes, we need to do it for
Carolina.
her.
She couldn't beat South Carolina. She couldn't beat LSU. She went up against both of those SEC schools. And again, even in football, you're not
Yep.
nothing if you don't beat a SEC
And
school,
Brianna
is
Stewart
how that
said
we
that. I
do.
think she was
Yeah.
on the I think she was on the desk and she was like, if you don't have a ring, it changes everything. Like,
You're not
yeah,
considered. Well, that kind
yeah,
of takes away from your greatness because, like, oh, you didn't get a ring. So she needs to do that in the WNBA. We'll see if she
yeah,
does. But yeah.
yeah. So, but yeah, that came out like what, today or yesterday. It also came out today that Bill Belichick is going to North Carolina, which I can't wait to really dive into next year. I mean, next week.
So Bill Belichick
Yes,
was
is a
the
former NFL Patriots coach. He
he's
coached
Nick
Tom Brady.
Saban of the NFL.
Yes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
one
So
of the
who's the
two.
big? Who's Bill?
And they actually worked together, I think,
That
when
was
they were
Tom
on the
Brady's
Browns
first
together. Yeah.
coach.
Gotcha.
Yes. And personally, I think he has one of the greatest like football brains. Obviously the breakup between Brady and Belichick, the Patriots just never really
Not the
recovered.
breakup.
I'm very curious to see how someone at old school mentality or like not mentality, I don't know how he thinks,
No,
but
I mean
just
he's
old
he's
Old
school
Nick
like
culture.
Saban.
approach to things is how one, he's going to take an organization like North Carolina, and two, and I say this with everyone now, it's the NIL. I don't know how they're, I mean, but it might be nice to have someone with NFL experience dealing with these players who are making tons of money now.
I
Like
don't
maybe
think
Keep
that
their head on
is,
straight.
I'm
you know
gonna
what I mean?
chime
Like
in on
maybe it's like
this.
not going to
Hmm.
be intimidating to someone to be like, I was dealing with Gronkowski and like guys making this money all along. So I'm curious to see what kind of experiment that does. So we
But
can probably
I don't think that's gonna work because one, he's Nick Saban. Nick Saban learned from him. And the reason why Nick Saban, I feel, I'm not gonna say this is the reason because I don't think he said it, but Nick Saban left is because he couldn't
you can control them.
control
You
the
can control
guys
them.
because they're making money now
So
and
much money.
it's a
Hmm.
different thing. And then I think with Bill, he kind of lost towards the end, even after just not even just because I think Tom Brady left, but that was a new generation of guys coming in too. And the guys that he was getting were the young from that other generation where it was like you didn't get money, so you were working to that next level and you were able to stay in that mindset. But now these kids are different and the new
I'm
players.
very curious to see, and
So
I'm
I don't
very
think it's gonna
curious
work.
why. I want to look at the deal because I haven't had a chance to read about it, but I know that there were talks that if he leaves, his son takes his place as head coach. So I need to see if that's still true.
If he leaves, he goes
I'm just
for
really
North
interested that this
Carolina.
is going to be his, wait, what?
You're saying if he leaves
Belichick's
as the
son would
coach
be
for
his
North
head coach
Carolina?
if he leaves.
Haven't he
Yeah,
worked his son in there?
I don't know.
You
It's
see
been
how
like
rich people do?
the athletic
Nepotism
sent
is
in.
real.
Yes. So the
Hey, that's smart
Athletic
though.
released an article today, because I subscribed to it. And they were talking about how like it's kind of been a messy come togetherness because like they don't even know if the board offered him a job or like a trustee of like there's been like some inner messiness of like how it came about. So I'm gonna do
Official?
some research and bring it back next week. And the other thing I've been watching is Joe Burrow got robbed.
Oh, wait, did
And
during the game while he was at the
But
game
he's the
playing?
third,
yes,
that's the third
it's the
NFL
third
player to
one. And
happen.
like his press conference to talk
But you
about it
probably didn't care about the first one, huh?
Who was the first one?
is
Patrick
Patrick
Mahomes.
Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And
Not that we want them to get robbed,
I'm
but
not commending it. I had nothing to do with it. If anyone gets according to this tape,
AI
I
got
had nothing to do with
AI
it.
but
AI
I
we
did
coming.
weren't
not have as
crying
much
over it.
sympathy
Yeah, we
for
weren't
them.
crying.
Because I do think, and like to echo and to go again, I know it's Joe Burrow, so I
We
adore
love
that man,
Joe.
that he was talking about how like his privacy has like obviously been like shaken because like already more than what he'd like is in the public. And he goes, I understand I chose this job. This is what I did. But like, I do think he is
That was
shaken
good
up that
take.
he's
Yeah.
like, this is like this is my home and stuff. So like you can, I don't know, like I think seeing someone who is so good at being composed, like on the field and everything like that, like you can kind of tell that he like is like
Well,
this
I mean,
isn't
that
cool.
is like
Like
your
this is
privacy. Somebody was in your home
Yeah.
without
your
you
home. Like
knowing. Yeah.
I
yeah.
can't sleep there. I'm supposed
But
to. That's the one place you're
Like I
supposed to
feel
be
like
safe.
just imagine how like us
right.
like normal people feel if like somebody had like come into my house that
But
like
they,
you can find my mail anywhere and like
yeah.
you can find my address in the junior league directory. Like you are like okay,
Coronavirus.
like imagine
Don't go
how
look for it
hidden,
though.
Please
right?
don't.
You need a login.
And she's
But
moving, so whatever.
Are
doesn't
you gonna
matter.
change your chapter?
I
Like, are you gonna?
am. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already
The
Smart.
yes,
talked.
transfer.
But no, I feel like oh little Joe Bart, like how the links that people probably have to go to find that and then like again, you probably do
Yeah.
just feel
That
like
always
what
makes
else
me
is out
think it's
there?
like an inside person. Like
I think
somebody
so
says,
too.
like for it to be everybody, I wonder if they like all have the same securities company or something. Like
NFL,
some,
like you have to register
yes,
with this,
like
and then they get
Or
something
it's like
hacked.
happened.
somebody, it's either somebody in NFL, like not as big, but like someone who like in like the office or something. Like I feel like
Hmm. Not the
there's got to
Well,
billionaire.
be
you know
there's
what's
got to be somebody on the dark. This is a really sidetracked story, and I feel like I've been listening too much of the Ringer podcast to go on this rant. But I read an article today about how like this podcaster like had to go tell this woman that they found that like someone paid a lot of money in Bitcoin on the dark web to have her murdered. So like which is wild. Again, this is so irrelevant. But I'm like, what if there's like something on the dark web that
that's
somebody's like,
it.
hey, I got Joe Burrow's address. Somebody want to go
Well, you know the
Take
like
it
paparazzi
to the
always
bank
gets it,
then.
so I think you can find it. But what I think what's funny about the story, but
people
not,
think the paparazzi, somebody tips them off.
yeah.
Somebody tips people off.
But I'm saying
Because
they're
where's
able to
Beyonce?
get
We
it
never see Beyonce because she's the one people to find her. Taylor Swift
because
people call
Beyonce.
her all the time. Call the paparazzi all the time.
Well,
That's my theory.
Taylor Swift better get Beyonce's PR folks and people and legal team because they
No,
nothing
because
come
she
out
wants it.
right. Well, yeah. But I think what's funny about
Different
that,
podcast for a different day.
what's funny about that story, but not funny, is that the three of them, I believe, all got robbed on Monday night when they were
Mhm.
playing. So it's like they got robbed while they
Inside
were at
out.
work.
Yeah,
But
it's
were
And
coming
they
they?
knew where they
up.
were, like, oh,
Yes.
you're Monday, you're gonna be gone
But
for a couple
I
of
can't
hours.
remember if were the Chiefs home or not. Because I mean, obviously the
I don't
Bengals
remember if
were
they were home.
away. So I'm like, it's a
I
away
don't,
game. Like, you know
yeah.
what I mean?
But
That
then they
like
know that you're on TV playing. Like it's like I got robbed while I was at
But what if
work.
you have other people that live with you? Like, so just imagine if like Joe old lady was in the house or his kids and during the game and you over there getting
But
that's
they
robbed.
because I'm
probably
thinking
know
like I
that.
would want
They've
to go
been
to Jerry's
watching.
World. Like I'm staying home. Like I'm at yeah, that's
Yeah.
where yeah.
Yeah, like
Again, I just
or
think
Because I wouldn't be going to play, I wouldn't be going to visit you in no Kansas City or no Buffalo with that snow. Like I
right.
am staying
Like
home watching
yeah.
you, boo.
we will be look, curled
But
up
like
on
you
the
also
couch
think
rooting you
about these
on
guys that are
in the
probably paying
blankie.
so much money
Right.
for security.
Yeah, where
So
was
But
like
they
for
got
it's a
something to get
security
past it,
person.
I'm like there's something in there.
They
There's
got
like
yeah.
a
Craig, they got Craig and Day
somebody
Day
is on the dark
working.
because they're security and they know how to make technology work. Somebody's on the dark web.
Yeah,
Somebody's
they
on the
got
dark web.
someone in there.
I'm telling you, it
Okay.
got to be a company for all the guys.
Yeah. Lauren, what are your three things or two? It doesn't have to be three, but what you been
Okay, so Unrivaled. I don't know if y'all have talked about this on a podcast, but
the three?
Brianna
I
Stewart,
was like, why you
I was
calling
like,
her
I was like, oh,
Brianna Stewart, and wait, what's the other girl's name?
stupid? Nafisa. The
Yes,
wait, I want to say it right because I know people mess it up. But she's for oh
Seattle.
crap. See, yeah,
She was just in the
the
finals.
playoffs with them, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Um, they're they have this new team that they're starting that all of the players get equity in and all of that. It's women's basketball 3-on-3. So I'm excited about that.
yeah,
Andrew,
Flashlight just did that, right?
yeah, she got an NIL deal with them. She was their first NIL
And what
person.
did she put in on that where she has
She
equity
got
in it?
equity in
She's
the
so
company
smart.
now. She is. The girl got
Somebody else
money.
did that. Did Paige do that? Somebody did that with another one of their deals. I think it might have
I
been
know I
Paige.
saw Paige, I think, was getting a tennis shoe or something.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She,
she was
yeah,
But
getting
I
a
think
Nike
she is
shoe.
part of, she might be part of that too. But yeah, she did get a shoe.
yeah.
So Angel, Chelsea Gray, some of the good ones are playing that. So I'm excited for that to start. They're all playing in Miami. So that sounds like we need to make another trip. Uh,
Miami.
I think I'm going to the game on Sunday. The
You better be in
Tigers,
church.
yeah, be at church 2 o'clock. The Tigers are playing ULL. So I hadn't seen ULL playing forever. So it's
Yeah.
another
It's a
home
good
team.
state rivalry too. Like in
Mm-hmm.
state.
Yep.
Those are always the
Uh,
fun ones too. Because do you remember that year that like Southeastern almost beat us? Oh my God, it's one of my favorite press conference interviews with Kim Mulkey. Um, I remember like we went, it was like 2 years ago. Somebody needs to Google it, or you need to Google it because like we like barely won against Southeastern.
It's like you know
And
you should have won out.
but it was like something and like it's Kim Mulkey, Angel, and Alexis Morse. And like Alexis and Angel are just sitting there like this.
Like we ain't
And then
talking.
she's like, y'all can talk. Like it's something like, but they were like, yeah, and like she goes, I know how good they are down in Hammond. I did my homework for this game. It's like this whole thing. And they're just sitting there
she's
like
funny. She is
She
hilarious
is.
in
so,
her
so
press
I'm always
conferences.
like, ooh, in-state ones are all like
But
she
Yeah.
we
knows
were
she
playing
knows the whole
somebody
state's
else.
watching. So
Yeah, we were playing somebody else and almost lost to them. And I was like, "Ooh, girl, Kim don't be playing." Like I said, that's when her theatrics come out on the sideline. So funny. Because
see, it
Kim,
makes
first of
it
all,
worth staying when we're losing because it's
yes.
like, oh, Kim's about to lose it.
First of all,
Shit.
Kim got the
Like
knee. Kim is like past Megan knees.
Yeah, how
Because
does she squat like
I don't
that?
know.
In
I ain't never seen
heels.
nobody
anyhow,
in heels forever. And she gets to stumping up and down the side of that court.
she's on the court. My favorite is like there's this one year, it was the Iowa game because everybody was tweeting about how like how is Kim allowed on the court? And I'm like, oh, you're new here. You're new here because Kim
She's
always
running with
there.
the ref. Right. She's running with the
But you
ref.
have a little line that you could go up to and then you can't
You can't
Kim
pass.
be
doesn't
over the
follow it.
line.
Kim doesn't
Well, yeah, but
follow.
I'm just saying,
On a
like, you
signature
have.
line.
I always like wonder like what the refs are saying like
They're
before they
probably
have a
like,
Kim
oh,
Mulkey game.
hell.
They're
Here
like
we go.
like who's got Mulkey? Who's got
Right.
Mulkey?
And if she's
Like
not there, she's like leans up against the back of the where all of the announcers are. And I was like, girl, the people can't even see to record the
Right.
points. It's still all over.
They're taking stats and all that stuff. You just in the way.
So yeah,
That's,
I'm just gymnastics starts next week, so I'm
oh,
excited for that to
yay.
come back. They have their first like season opener at the
oh yeah,
PMAX.
because
So
And
Haley Bryant came back, huh?
yes, Haley
as a
Bryant.
grad, she's a grad.
Yeah, like 5 of our best starters came back.
Olivia.
Olivia, she's back too. Yep, Liv is back. So I'm kind of excited for them. One of our friends, I'm not gonna call her name. I just got her introduced to Sports and Mimosas not too long ago. But she used to play gymnastics for LSU. And so now like we talk about the meet. So like I have my basketball
Ooh,
girlies and have my
Oh, we'll have to
gymnastic
have
girlies.
her
look
on
at
too.
you.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, no,
You're
those
gonna
are
be
great
Lord, you're
to
gonna take
attend.
over the podcast without me.
I'll fill
No,
in
we're
when you're
just
not
adding
here.
to our girl
Yeah.
chat.
I can do that. I'm
We're
fine with
adding
that.
to our girl chat. That's all it is. We
Yes.
want more
Mhm.
women chatting about sports, the
Yes.
stories, and just being connected. And then just look at the community that you're creating. Like you have
Mhm.
this
It's there.
one,
We just gotta
yeah.
bring people together. That's what
And
it
it may
is.
not all be the
Yeah.
same sports, but you have your gymnastic crew, and then you have your
Mhm.
basketball and your NFL, and then we all can come together and talk about stuff. So no, I love that.
Yeah.
Um, so this one that I'm looking at, that was just announced, he's not a current player, but still in sports. Randy Moss, stepped
He had
Yeah.
down.
cancer.
Well,
Is it cancer?
he
That's
hasn't
what I
said,
saw.
yeah.
You
Okay,
saw it.
so
I've heard
let me
they've
tell,
they've
yeah,
yeah they've alluded to something. That's the word I was looking
yeah,
for.
so I was researching this because I am a Raiders fan. Randy Moss was a Raider before and he was also with the Patriots and the Vikings. But he's on NBA Countdown, I think, or NFL countdown. And people, I guess, were commenting something was up with his eyes. I didn't watch when his eyes, and so he made a comment on the next show saying he's battling some health issues and to pray for him and his family while they're going through this. And like, he knows that everyone was making comments, but he would be wearing these glasses, and then everyone on set was wearing glasses like in support for him. But then I think it was like the next week ESPN said that he was going to take a break from the show while he
Hmm.
got his health together, and they look forward to welcoming him back when he's ready. Well, then there was at the Hall of Fame, it was a Hall of Fame something. I think it was a gala or a lunch or something like that. Larry Fitzgerald Sr., so Larry Fitzgerald's dad, um, made a comment saying that like kind of I'm praying for you and that he has liver cancer. And then
Hmm.
Thaddeus, who is Randy Moss's son, well,
Went
okay,
off.
so Brett Favre, then because he did play with Brett Favre at the Vikings. Yeah, I think it was when he was with the Vikings.
So
Um,
he has liver cancer?
we don't know. So this is
Oh.
where I'm not spreading it because Larry Fitzgerald said that, but Randy Moss and his family have not said. So I don't like to spread that, but I my thing of the story is one, like that does get twisted, but like I hope that he is okay. Thaddeus, his son, who also did play at LSU, came out and said to Brett Favre, like, that is not true or whatever, but thank you for the
Hmm.
prayers. So I don't know if he's just saying that just because they wanted to keep it to themselves and they wanted Randy to be able to say what it is when he was ready.
So according to the article that I found, the son's tweet was like, oh, it has curse words in it. Okay, I'm not going to say that. This
Just
is
beep.
disgusting. You have no right to try to make private matters public for the sake of engagement. I do not believe my father talks to you, so check your effing resources. So then it sounds like maybe he
That was to
doesn't.
Larry Fitzgerald Sr.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
he was like, breadth of support is appreciated. Truly, this is not true. My father will address the world when he is ready to.
Yeah. So that's where I like side with I'm with the Randy's want to keep it personal. And I always think back
Yeah.
to like with Jamie Foxx, like he came out and was able to do it in his way, but his family was very protective. And for that to slip, maybe it was an accident that Larry Fitzgerald slipped it, if that is true. But like, don't say that. When Randy clearly on TV addressed it and on his social media, thank you for your
Say what he
prayers.
wanted to say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he didn't give any more. Um, so that's one thing. It didn't happen last week, but still top of my mind is that the Chiefs did lose of the Bills. So they did lose one game and aren't undefeated, but then they won again by luck this last week.
Never thought I'd be cheering for
I
a Harborough, and I
cheer
was.
for
So if you
everyone whoever is playing
can't believe it.
against, I am cheering for you. Even if you're the Cowboys, I will cheer for you. Um, when you're
I'm like,
playing, when you're playing the Chiefs, I will cheer that
yeah,
you win. And then my
You
other
don't like
thing,
the Chiefs?
no, I'm
Oh,
tired of them.
I'm
I'm
tired.
tired. Truth is, I'm
Tired.
tired.
I'm tired of seeing that
So tired. I
man.
just feel like we never really got to talk about the Super Bowl because of our busy schedules, but like I really just got tired. Like that whole Super Bowl was
Yeah.
so like that one affected me in a very different way than other ones had. And someone pointed it out to me that it was like the popular kids versus like the average Joe. Like it was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and it was like, no, like the
They
popular ones
better.
were not supposed to win. Like it was kind of
Yeah.
just like they are the ones who are like flashing their dollars and doing all the things. And like
Showboat.
Brock Purdy is still on his like rookie year contract. Like, like it was
Yeah.
just of one that it was like I see y'all so much outside of the game, and now I have to keep seeing y'all because y'all won
Check
this
it
game. Like it
out.
just,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Well,
yes,
I pray. I mean, they're on track to go back to the Super Bowl the way that the refs keep allowing them to win, but or their luck. I do not want to see them in New Orleans, and I don't want Taylor to come back to New Orleans this season. Not for that, at least. She can come back for something else. But And then my other thing that really watching college football, we're headed into playoffs. That has been said. Alabama is not even going to the playoffs for like the first time in like
Forever.
decades. I think, yeah, like Nick's not there. Um, but also that the Heisman. So that is one of my favorite things to watch, and I'm really rooting for Travis Hunter for him to get the Heisman this year. So I'm excited and
Because
looking
he'd
for
be the
that.
first wide receiver in a bit, right?
Well, he would be wide receiver and corner because he plays both. But yeah, because I think it's been running back and quarterbacks
Yeah.
the last and
Who
it's the
Travis
majority
play
of
for?
Colorado under Coach Prime,
Mm,
Deion Sanders. But
yeah.
he
Which I'm kind of glad it was him and not
Shador.
Sanders' son.
Yeah.
Shador.
Mm.
Yeah. I kind of like
Yeah.
Travis is just done
Well,
again playing
when
those
it
two
comes,
positions. Yeah, I
yeah,
think.
because there hasn't been many players in college, and he's like pretty much the best to do it to play on both sides. Like, I think last week or the week before, he had like four
Wild numbers.
touchdowns and
Yeah, wild
interceptions.
numbers.
Like, it was just, he was crazy on both sides. And to be able to
That's
play
good.
both sides, you know. And I just listened to the podcast, the Pivot podcast with him on there, and he just seems like he's a country
Is that the one
boy.
where he talked about like he sent Coach Prime a text message saying like you changed my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he told Coach Prime, and then he just loves his girlfriend, well, his fiance, because they're engaged, but they've been together, I think, for years and years. So she's kind of that ride or die. And he's like, he said like multiple times in that, like, oh, I love her. Like, I have nothing to worry about. Like, there's no one else, out there. But he's
That's
like, he's
good.
very humble and stuff. But so looking forward to him being Heisman and to see if Shador does come to the Raiders as the
Yeah, I'm
number
wondering
one
what they're gonna
pick.
do about that.
Because we
Because
need
they
a
think
quarterback.
Travis is gonna be first and he goes to who? Who's the
Well, I
worst?
think I mean, not the Chargers. Raiders can get number one, and probably the Giants or Jets. I think Giants are one or two.
I can't wait. Thank you. I was making my list of the one things to talk about next week, and that whole entire franchise. Can't wait to
The
talk about
Giants.
that.
I know.
Can't
Okay,
wait to
so we
talk
were
about
in New
that.
York, and the Saints played the Giants. We were
But
like,
did you get to see the plane that said fix this mess?
no,
Like
we didn't see
fix
that.
this
I
dumpster
think
fire or something?
we were at the Nets game when the game was on. But we were thinking about like, oh, let's not go to the Nets and let's go to the
It was
Giants
like a
game.
dollar. There was a
Yes,
section that
that's
was $1 to
no.
get in.
We literally that morning were like, maybe we should go. Like it's not as cold as I thought it was going to be because it was like in the 50s, and I was like, oh, we
Yeah.
might be able to do that. Do we want to not go to the Brooklyn game and go? Like how long is it going to take us to get there? And on SeatGeek when we were looking, tickets were cheap, like $50 in the lower bowl. And then we were like, no, well, okay, we'll just go or whatever. And we like debated. And then we were in the game and Marcus looked and he was like, if we had just went to that game, we could have got in for $1. And I was like, what? Like we should have just went. So
I was so
yeah, but
surprised. I
that's
was
how
like,
bad
yeah,
they are that it was
so
$1.
bad.
But I
And
was
it's
like,
like, and
we
I'll
won, but
say for like my big rant next week, but like that entire franchise, like starting from this half, like they did Hard Knocks and the whole
yeah, that
time
is
like John Mara is like, do not get rid of Saquon. Like, do
why
whatever
would
we
you
can
do
to
that?
keep
But
Saquon. Like, what are we doing?
he
Like,
was
we are
racking up my
keeping
fantasy
Saquon Barkley,
points.
and they get rid of him. And I'm like, how does this man still have a job? The fact that you have it on literal tape that your boss said, don't get rid of
Junior.
this
He'll be done
person.
at the end of the season.
But it's such a mess. It's such,
Yeah,
and then
that
it's
now that's
like
some
the
drama.
Daniel Jones
Hmm.
nonsense of how they handled his department. Oh my God. Like I would just be, I think it's really funny because I think 2 seasons ago, I'm like, John Elway must be so embarrassed with how the Broncos are handling things. And I'm like, oh, the Giants like basically were like,
Like, what does
hold
Michael
my beer.
Strahan feel
Because
like? And
it's like the fact that this used to be such a established
yeah,
like franchise, like brand and
Yeah.
franchise. Like, I mean, again, Eli Manning was your quarterback, but you won two Super Bowls and you beat Tom
Yeah.
Brady with them. Like, you have history of this, and it just has gone like,
Boom,
So
boom,
a
boom,
little bit of
yeah,
boom.
background
like
to
it's
that,
just every year you think it's bad, and you're like, oh,
a
I
little
think
bit
it's
of
getting worse.
background to like those that are watching that may not know. Um, Malik Neighbors, just to kind of add to what she was talking about with the plane, Malik Neighbors, has been
Former
showing
LSU boy.
some frustration with the team and losing and the coach with calling plays and stuff. And then he did that last week where he made comments, and then this week someone rented out a plane with a message and it ran across like above the stadium
Now
saying
they
to
got a
sell.
blimpie.
Yeah, well, it was an airplane with like the banner word.
It says,
Yeah,
Mr. Mara, fix this dumpster.
fire. Yeah. And then they asked Malik about it
He goes,
afterwards
I
and
didn't
he was
pay for
like,
it.
I didn't pay for the plane.
He's like, that wasn't me. I didn't pay for
But
it.
hey,
And then, like,
he
I think
feels good.
Tyron Matthew or somebody tweeted, like, it was me.
Yeah. Well,
Like, it
Tyron,
was,
come on, you can't talk either
I was
because we
like,
need to fix our fire.
Same thing.
We in
It's
a fire too. We not in
okay.
that much drama, but
We smoldering out fire.
we're keeping it at bay. We were able to beat them, but we knew that was going to be a win.
but
But
like, I think a missed field goal. Like, it was something
yeah,
so bad.
hey, that's
But I was
we already
like,
know we're done. And this week we play the Washington Commanders, so we're kind of like, go Jaden, and we
oh,
know you're going to beat us because we don't even have
right.
a quarterback, and we're bringing someone in off the street. Well, he's not off the street, but we're bringing in
It felt
somebody.
like it.
Yeah, so we'll
this
At
see
is
this
how
the
that
point,
thing.
goes.
our games
Not,
are gonna
I
be
don't
free
want
at
it
this
to
point.
be this.
Right,
I don't want it to be
Tyler.
this game because I like Jaden, but like the guy off the street sometimes can be like your
Come in
victory,
and
like
shut shit
story.
down.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you never know.
I mean,
I
Kurt,
still
what was
think
it? Kurt made it. Kurt Cousin made. Was it Kurt Cousin
what
or who was it? The one for that was just sitting on the couch doing carpool, and he came in and had
Joe Flacco, I
Joe
think.
Flacco. Yeah, I think
He
it was
was
with
like,
Atlanta. He's with Atlanta now, right?
I think
Or
so.
was
Or he's with Colts. No, he's with the Colts because it's been a whole thing with Anthony.
okay.
Um,
But yeah, he was doing carpool
so
one
it might
day.
have, it was either that one or the other one. Somebody was doing carpool one day and they were like, come back.
Somebody,
Okay.
and then
He
he
had to
did
get the
good.
And then
kids.
I just
So
think about,
I can't do
I just
carpool
think,
anymore, honey. I gotta go to work.
sorry, get a
Get
nanny.
the Get the
Yeah.
grandparents.
But then, yeah. But then I always think about like I just always would love to interview Kyle Shanahan. Like the day that Jimmy Garoppolo got hurt, was it Trey for the 49ers who was like hurt? Like all of a sudden it was like
Then he went
Brock
to the
Purdy's your
Raiders.
guy. Like the last pick in the draft is like your guy. And you're just
But
like,
that was, yeah,
and like, but look what he's done. So
he
I'm
was
always
another
just like,
Tom
it's either
Brady
gonna
in
be
that
a
sense.
The
great
underdog.
story or you're just like, okay.
Yeah. But the way we're going, I don't think it's gonna be a Brock Purdy kind of
Wait, what do you
story.
think about I know this is what we do every time. We're like, we're
Yeah, we
leaving.
went
And
out
then
we
I'm
went
like,
we went all
what
the
are
way
you
up to
because
football.
Derek Carr's out, huh? Like for the year. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, for the year,
He's
it's
out
like
for
2 more weeks for y'all.
he's out for a
But like
couple of weeks, and I was like, that's the
for the
season.
season.
Like he's done for the season. Hey, go sit down because
You
we're
weren't
done.
doing that
We're
when you was
done.
healthy.
And this
Right.
Taysom hurt? Did I make that
Yes.
up?
Yes. I was at that game that Taysom got hurt, and we thought it was against the Rams, and everyone in the stands, we were kind of like, oh, that's a Rams player's down. When they like cleared and brought the car, and you can see, and then everyone's like, no, that's Taysom. What? Oh my God. And they were like clapping, but we're like, we just got him back. And yeah, I think he's out for the season. Like
I
he
do
got
feel like
hurt.
that just
That's when I was like,
categorizes
we're
the
done.
whole
Yeah.
NFL season
Hmm.
of
Yeah, I was
like,
like, we're done. Because you can't keep giving it to Alvin and that being our saving grace. Like
well, at
every
least you have
time
Dennis Allen out. At least he went away, you know?
we need a lot more out.
A lot
But
of prayers.
we'll get ready for the draft. That's what my team's in the NFL. I'm just getting ready for the draft, okay? Like the Raiders are
What's our
out of the
pick in
playoffs.
the draft?
Huh?
What's our pick in the draft
Hold
for
on,
this next?
somebody did it the other day. It was like a mock draft. Hold on,
I
let me
think if
Google.
Depends on where we finish,
because
but
they think
we're gonna be down
mock
there
draft
or
2020.
early. We're gonna be early,
We
Let's
might
see.
get there for number 5.
As of
probably.
today, the mock draft is, sorry, all the things are popping up. Number one, Las Vegas,
Shador.
and then
Two is the Giants, I think, huh?
two Giants, three New England Patriots,
The Jets have to be down there.
four Carolina Panthers,
Makes
five
sense too.
Jacksonville Jaguars,
Oh, do we at
Tennessee
least get the top?
Titans,
We need to lose the rest
New
of our
York Jets,
season. We need
and
to lose the
then
rest of our season. Maybe we can get down
Cleveland
some.
Browns 8, Chicago Bears 9, Cincinnati Bengals 10,
We
which
must
is
have
wild because Joe is having a crazy year. New Orleans Saints 11.
we
So if
must
they
have
lose some more,
traded. We must have traded in something for a draft pick. Why are we that high?
Because
I
we
feel
suck.
like we gave our draft pick away to somebody. Maybe for
they might have
Jameis.
lost some.
We had to give away a draft pick. Our first round. Well, no, we still have first round. I don't know. That's kind of crazy that they that look that high. We
But
need
like
to
it's
get them
also like
more.
weird reading those lists of just being like,
But that's why
what?
we
Like
gotta finish out because Joey Burrow to be they've won a little more
they
games
won.
than
They
us,
won
I
the week
think.
that mattered.
Yeah.
I'm
So
sorry you got robbed.
we'll see. Yeah, those that are gonna be playing Monday Night Football, y'all better get your security
Be on
up.
right. You need the armed guards outside.
Yes.
Don't
Get
leave the
your
kids
own
at home.
security. Don't use the company security.
Where is Pookie from the
Yes,
corner?
because you're
You
gonna
need
need
Pookie
it.
from the hood.
If you
Like,
are a starter, if you're the quarterback, who's playing Monday night, you need to have your home
hmm
surveillance. But well,
Locked up tight.
right. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining. We will be back next week with another episode to cap off our year, the end of the year recap, and then we'll be starting fresh in the new year with more girl chat. And thank you, Lauren, for joining us.
Thanks for
Loved
having me.
having
This was
you.
so fun. Yay.
Yes. And look at you being on point with the WNBA stuff.
Got my facts
You whipped
down.
that out.
Right.
Right. She's like, actually.
Because I had been looking at this stuff all week. So I was like, ooh, we got this stuff to talk about in
Yes.
the
And that was one thing that we definitely wanted to talk about, the women getting that new franchise. So I'm excited for the
podcast.
other two to come in and then hopefully they continue to grow. But definitely watch the Unrivaled.
They start in
Um,
January. Yep.
they'll start in January. And then our college hoops. If you're not into football, college hoops has started. So until next time, thank you ladies for joining us and have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.